Hey there, I hope everything is well with you. It is the first day of autumn and it is rainy in England, which doesn't sound unfamiliar seeing as most of the time it is raining anyway. But I wanted to do a video about something I hear a lot on. You know, I talk to some people like myself and they talk about, the skin picking and how they just want it all to stop and they feel like they've tried everything and they're exhausted and there's so much despair, and you can read it or you can hear it in their voice, and I totally get it. I think most of the time when I get messages like this, it's usually from those that have just skin picked and on what I call phase 2, when you're feeling total despair and shame and guilt and sadness straight after skin picking. And so I wanted to kind of touch base on this because I feel like sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable. It can be really easy for us to be like, you know what, I've done everything and nothing's working and I'm stuck with this and this is my life and It can be so easy for us to just kind of fall into this well of disappointment. But sometimes we have to sit ourselves down and think about it and be like, well, have I done everything? Because a lot of the time we put so much effort, energy and money into the physical aspect, into wanting to make our skin look better. And so, you look up these reviews for this brand, or your best friend says that this brand completely healed their skin, and so you're like, well, I should try it. Or you go a step further and you go onto something like Accutane, like I did, and then you find that, you've still got a compulsion to pick, and that's because clear skin doesn't mean no more skin picking. And I'll keep on saying that because I know that there's so many of us that believe, well, it will be the exception for me, that when I get clear skin, I'm not going to want to pick anymore because I'll want to keep it that way. No, because if you're emotionally connected to the skin picking and something happens in your life that makes you feel quite anxious, or you're overwhelmed, or you're overthinking, or you've got so much on and you're procrastinating from it, you're avoiding something that you know you need to do, whether it's a job or your exams or toxic friends or stressful family or whatever the case, then you will go towards this compulsion again, or you'll go and sidestep towards another compulsion, which a lot of us do. There's so many of us that say started with obsessive compulsive cleaning or a very unhealthy relationship with eating, obsessive with their eating, and say one day they just stopped, they sorted that, they thought, wow, that's amazing, I've completely changed my life. But in fact didn't realize that they sidestepped to another compulsion altogether, where it is, whether it's skin picking or hair pulling or whatever. There is something that they have went to make themselves feel better. And that is because it's so difficult for us to want to take care of the root problem, mainly because that's scary. It's uncomfortable for us because we understand that that's going to take a lot of groundwork. It's like lifting a lid. I mean, when I first started to really pour my heart and soul into wanting to sort my own relationship with myself, there were a lot of tears. And I built up such a big shield, like a huge wall. Sometimes there was me marching around like Terminator, thinking that I was unstoppable, whatever, I have no heart. No, in fact, I'm actually extremely empathic, and I'm very, very highly sensitive. I could literally cry on demand. I'm not going to do that because I've already cried in one post. I'm not going to do that again. But it just goes to show that you think you know yourself, when in fact there is a large part of you that's wanting to be heard. And then most of the time with these compulsions, it's because we're not listening to ourselves. There's a part of us that really needs our attention and we're just not giving it to ourselves. And that says that we don't care enough about ourselves to give ourselves the chance to speak, to really understand what's going on. We're just shutting it off. We're just closing that lid and drilling nails into it, and we're like, yeah, whatever. But think about it, like, would we do that for the people that we love the most? Would we say, no, I'm sorry, you can't have, I can't give you my time, I'm sorry? No, we wouldn't. All they'd have to say is that they need our help and we'd be there. But yet we're not doing that for ourselves. Instead, we're going directly to the surface issues, and we're wanting to make our skin look better, and we'll stop at nothing to do it, spend so much money. There's so many things now, like even with compulsive behaviors, there's things that you can fidget with. There's like bracelets that will make little, I don't know, little vibrations, or even there's some that apparently I've just found out today, that will send a little electric shock to you, which is craziness. Oh my God. And these things aren't, you know, they can be beneficial to help you understand, you know, the patterns and like where you are when you're feeling this way, or maybe what you're thinking about whilst you're feeling this way. But it's up to you to notice these things. Otherwise, if you don't, then all you're doing is making yourself feel bad by having these like vibrations or shocks going off, and you're just like, oh, I wish I could stop doing this. And these things are expensive too. Like, we're spending so much money. So what I ask instead, like, if you really want to stop your skin picking and you really feel like you would do anything to stop it, then take the time to understand the patterns. You know, what I recommend over and over again, and I think it's great. It's free, it's quick, it's easy, it's something you can have on your phone. We all have phones these days. I mean, a lot of us do. And it's called Skin Pick app. Download it. As I said, it's free, and all you need to do is just add in entries every time you get the urge or you've already picked, and you put in the entries, and it is you're saying like where you are when you do it, how long you're doing it for, what areas you're focusing on, what you're thinking when it's going on. And then after a while you start to notice these patterns. Eventually you can see what is triggering it, whether it is exams, whether it is the job you're working, the 2 jobs you're working, your family, your partner, whatever it is. But there's always things that are triggering us to go towards that compulsion. And if we're not listening to them, then it means that no amount of product, no amount of technology or skincare regimes or whatever is going to get to the root of it. And we'll always feel disappointed in ourselves. I feel like we deserve so much to be proud of ourselves, to be patient with ourselves, and to allow ourselves to celebrate the small wins. Totally. I mean, I've had dermatillomania for 14 years now, and this is the 2nd year where I feel like I actually have such a great level of awareness of it, so much self-awareness, and I think, you know, the way that it's been for many years is we've been scared to talk about it, scared to be open about it, because we feel that it's such a disgusting habit. We feel so strongly against it, and we're scared that how we feel about it is going to be exactly how others feel about it. I understand there's a lot of ignorant, closed-minded people in this world that need some educating, and that's all good. But acceptance comes from within first, true acceptance, because when you accept yourself, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And I'm kind of on that level now, and it's the best thing ever, you know. I am hard on myself. I have been very hard on myself for many years, and this is the first time that I'm really trying hard to take it easy and to allow myself the small victories. I know that my skin is a lot clearer now, but I also understand that my mind went straight towards my weight, because it was just the natural thing for my mind to be like, well, I need something to stress out about. I need something to focus on in a negative way. But then luckily, because I work so hard to manage my skin picking disorder, I was able to understand what was going on, and, you know, put some measures in place that were going to make me feel good. So yeah, I hope this helps, and I hope you really think about it. I hope you sit yourself down in your mind, and you ask yourself, have you really tried everything? Because it's so easy for us to feel like we have, even if it's like meditation, and you think, well, I did it for a week and didn't do anything, when in fact it could have been doing a hell of a lot more. But the discomfort of progress, of feeling the progress, feeling the positive things, can be very unsettling sometimes, especially if you're comfortable in constantly putting yourself down, making yourself feel worthless. The hardest thing is to realize that you are worth it. That is the hardest thing, is that you are worth the love and care and attention that you give your loved ones, because you are, we are, totally, we are. And I say it out of love, I say it out of care, because I care for you, and I care for your progress. I care for your mental well-being, and that's why I'm saying it. So when you go and say, I've tried everything, I just wanted to stop, ask yourself, What have you been focusing on? What do you think you could focus on more that's actually going to help you long term? Self-awareness and understanding yourself. Take action on your own development as a person, as a human. Understand what really makes you tick. And hopefully, bit by bit, you can break down those walls. We all put walls up when we're scared. We all put walls up when we feel afraid, but there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, my rant is over. I send you nothing but lots of love, and I hope you have a great week.